Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will explore the depths of Diary of a Provincial Lady by E.M. Delafield. The Diary of a Provincial Lady by E.M. Delafield, first published in 1930, is a humorous and semi-autobiographical novel. Written in the form of a journal, it details the daily life of an unnamed upper-middle-class Englishwoman living in a Devon village during the 1930s. Through a witty, self-deprecating lens, the Provincial Lady documents her domestic frustrations, social obligations, and encounters with eccentric friends and family. The novel brilliantly captures the subtle absurdities of rural British life while exploring themes of class, gender roles, and the balancing act between domestic duties and personal identity. Plot summary: the Provincial Lady lives a life of quiet absurdity in a rural Devon village, managing the trials of domesticity and the expectations of the society around her. From the outside, her life appears comfortable. She is married to Robert, has 2 children, and runs a household with the help of servants. Yet beneath this exterior lies a whirlwind of frustrations, unspoken thoughts, and moments of humor that she is never able to express aloud. It begins in November, when she decides to plant indoor bulbs, an activity that seems mundane but quickly becomes fraught with small complications. Lady Box, her snobbish and patronizing neighbor, arrives uninvited and immediately points out that it is far too late in the season to plant bulbs. The Provincial Lady navigates the conversation with a forced smile, all the while hiding the fact that her bulbs were, indeed, bought cheaply from Woolworths. Lady Box stays for tea, commenting on everything from Dutch painters to local gossip, making it clear that she views herself as superior in every way. Her domestic life is equally full of minor disasters. Her husband, Robert, is emotionally distant, preferring to read the Times rather than engage in conversation. Cook, the temperamental servant, constantly threatens to leave over complaints about the range, the quality of the meat, or some other perceived slight. The children, Robin and Vicky, offer their own challenges. Robin, away at boarding school, seems underfed, while Vicky displays a precocious and sometimes unsettling wisdom, as when she insists on discussing whether heaven, or HEL as she calls it, really exists. The family embarks on a brief trip to Bournemouth for Robin's half-term break, where the Provincial Lady finds herself repeating the same pleasantries to other parents that she has been exchanging for years. She notes that Robert has little to say and wonders if he ever truly listens to her. Back at home, the everyday chaos continues with letters from the bank about overdrafts, broken dishes, and children catching colds. Yet there is never a sense of real disaster, just a perpetual state of mild inconvenience that seems to define her existence. Her interactions with society are equally humorous and taxing. Lady Box is a constant presence, always ready to offer advice on everything from child-rearing to literary selections. At one point, the Provincial Lady receives an invitation to dine with Lady Box and some distinguished literary friends, one of whom has written a book called Symphony in 3 Sexes, a title that leaves the Provincial Lady baffled and amused. She attends the dinner, where discussions about books, art, and politics swirl around her, but she feels disconnected from the highbrow conversation. Robert, seated next to the author of Symphony in 3 Sexes, remains characteristically silent, while the Provincial Lady finds herself discussing birth control with a gentleman more interested in water supplies. Meanwhile, the management of the household continues to be a constant source of frustration. Cook complains about the kitchen range, the bulbs fail to flourish, and at one point, water from overzealous watering leaks through the attic floor. Social visits are both a relief and a burden. Old school friends, like Sissy Crab, come to stay, but their visits highlight the unglamorous realities of provincial life. Sissy, with her peculiar diet and endless stories about her bulbs back in Norwich, becomes a reminder of how dull life can be, despite the companionship. As Christmas approaches, the Provincial Lady's financial anxieties grow. Her attempts to balance the cost of gifts, household expenses, and overdraft notices from the bank are a recurring theme. She struggles to maintain appearances, often feeling inferior to the wealthier Lady Box and others in her social circle. Yet her dry humor and keen observations keep her from despair. The absurdities of her life, whether it is the chaos of organizing Christmas or attending tedious women's institute meetings, are met with an ironic detachment that allows her to survive the endless demands placed on her. In January, the provincial lady takes a brief respite by visiting her old friend Rose in London. Here, she attends a dinner with notable literary figures, enjoying the brief glamour of city life. She meets famous writers and artists, some of whom recognize her from her past life when she lived with Rose in Hampstead. Yet even in this setting, she remains an outsider, more amused by the eccentricities of the artistic elite than engaged by them. The evening ends with the usual chaos, as one artist borrows money and another forgets his manners, leaving the provincial lady with a feeling of bemusement rather than awe. Upon returning to Devon, life quickly resumes its usual rhythm. The children fall ill, Robin goes back to school, and household matters once again consume her attention. A village committee meeting to raise funds for a new village hall proves to be an exercise in futility, with few suggestions and much gossip. The provincial lady is asked to chair the meeting, but finds herself navigating silences and pointless discussions about local scandals rather than productive conversation. The minutiae of rural life, the petty dramas of neighbors, and the ongoing battle with domestic help all continue to shape her days. Yet for all the tedium and frustration, the provincial lady remains resilient. Her sense of humor, her sharp observations about those around her, and her ability to laugh at her own misfortunes keep her afloat. The absurdities of her life, from the small triumphs of managing the household to the ridiculousness of social expectations, are met with wit and grace. Through it all, she never loses her sense of self, even as she contemplates the chaos that defines her existence. In the end, the provincial lady's life is not one of grand events or dramatic changes, but rather a steady stream of everyday moments, each filled with its own small significance. Through her diary, she reveals the richness of the ordinary, finding humor and meaning in the most mundane aspects of life. That's it for now. If you loved this, don't forget to check out the rest of the Provincial Lady series by E.M. Delafield. You'll find them in the description or just search for them on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in E.M. Delafield's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.